Howdy, folks, and welcome back. Loki, Season 2, Episode 5, entitled Science/Fiction. Not science fiction, science/fiction. Boy, oh boy, last episode, that was a jaw-dropper. I was totally flabbergasted. I didn't know what was going to happen. When we had a spaghettified He Who Remains, essentially, Victor Timely, that shocked me. And then when it looked like there was some kind of a massive temporal explosion and the screen just went black, I honestly thought it was coming back. When we went to credits, it was like, what? How are they going to recover from this? Now, there was an article that in our podcast, Tuning into Sci-Fi TV, one of my co-hosts, Kevin, sent a link to the article where the executive producer, one of the executive producers, somebody high up, talked about how they intentionally did that because they really wanted to shock and have what would normally be a season finale cliffhanger to be mid-season, essentially. And that they do have story for the next 2 episodes. It's not like the show is over, obviously. I mean, it's Loki's show, so obviously something's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be. I know they released a mid-season trailer. I did not watch it. I didn't want to get spoiled because I want to come into this not knowing anything about what they're going to do. So let's watch it and find out. What is that music? It's kind of the 2001: A Space Odyssey. I said that there was kind of a when he was traveling down that kind of light show, vortex sort of thing, a lot of people were making the connection to Doctor Who, sure. But I was making the connection to 2001: A Space Odyssey at the end when Dave is like, after he's entered the obelisk or whatever it is. There's a light show like that too. But this sound that's playing right now, this it's a chorus kind of sound, very similar to that as well. Extremely similar. And here's that light again. Well, he survived it. He's not where he was before. He's somewhere with... Oh, he is. They did a really good job of making me think he was somewhere else, but he's in the same place, but nobody else is there. Is he time slipping again? Did that blast send him back into a time slip and he went to a different point in time? Where it's post-death of He Who Remains, but before the events of the last episode? No Mobius. If Mobius isn't in the automat eating pie, then something's wrong. Or maybe something is wrong. I mean, that's where he goes when something's wrong, right? Oh yeah, he's time slipping. They're in a fail-safe mode. So this looks like it is after that temporal explosion. And the building, the TVA, survived, but all the people, maybe it took them and sent them back to their timelines or something, back to their original times. Maybe that's why they're not there. But it sent him back to time slipping again? I don't know.
This is not.
There he goes. Still at the TVA. But when? It's another Loki.
Hello?
Or it's him. But that Loki was alone as well, dressed the same way as this one. So that's like a future version of him. In a little while, we're going to see him standing there looking in the book and then see the other Loki come up behind him. Maybe he starts to look in the book to figure out what code 1229, failsafe code 1229 means. There's the handbook. There he is.
Hello?
He knows. Whoa. Things are spaghettifying. Get the heck out of there. He can't. There's nowhere to go. Time slipping's the only way he can get out of there. Wow. Is this Casey? Because we saw in the trailer he was in prison garb. Yeah, it is. I heard somebody speculate, based on the clip of him in the trailer, that he was one of the prisoners that escaped from Alcatraz that went missing, vanished, and presumed dead in the Bay. Alcatraz is an island prison in the San Francisco Bay in California. And the period looks right, and the fact that he has oars, that other guy, and we just heard a foghorn, which is very... foghorns exist everywhere, but San Francisco is very well known for them. 1962. San Francisco. Yeah.
If they catch us, they're gonna cut us like fish. Casey?
It got us like fish. Remember Casey in season 1? What's a fish?
Alcatraz. What?
Yeah, it's definitely Alcatraz.
I don't know.
All right, back to Sylvie's timeline. Okay. Here it is, Power Sports. Oh, man. We saw that in the trailer. The wacky, wild, air-inflated balloon man thing. And the fact that it was at a watercraft place. And it looked like in the background in the trailer that it was Mobius. So hopefully he goes back there. Okay, this is the TVA. Well before it's been destroyed. It looks very calm. Is this back when he was first taken?
Yeah, it's going to help you heal.
All right. So she's from 2012. She's a doctor, I presume.
For 6 weeks.
And that's the scene from the trailer with her in this medical garb. There he is. The man, the myth, the jet ski machine guy. Now he's back with Mobius.
Think you mean ATV and no? We got in 2 of them.
1994. Okay, who's this?
He's one of the greats.
OB.
Everything he does.
It's him.
Your own book.
He's buying his own book.
Science fiction is.
Oh, not only that, but he's putting them there too. Okay.
Thought-provoking genre.
Kind of makes sense that OB would be a science fiction author, right? I wish this was clear enough on my screen to read any of these. It looks like a scrum board of some sort or sprint planning. Software engineer in me talking, sorry. Yeah, it's good. I was expecting that. And I knew he dropped the books too. Interesting how the architecture of his place is very similar to TVA. In fact, this is probably a TVA set, right? Redressed.
Make it happen.
He doesn't know what causes it to happen.
Anything, try harder.
I'm trying as hard
Or
as I can.
don't try as hard. Or maybe this is where he's meant to be. Maybe being with OB, even though it's not the same OB, is what he needs to save the TVA. I love how he was going to shock him back, and he's like, oh, never mind.
If we can get everyone together and
Oh, boy. That's a plan. Try to get everybody together, even though they don't know who they are.
we can read that aura. It'll be like coordinates.
And we can use these coordinates to get back to that moment in time.
No,
Why?
because we don't have one of those tempaths you talked about.
Well, can you build one? You can build one.
Maybe, but without any of the knowledge of how it works, from scratch, it could take a whole lifetime.
Tell him about Victor Timely. Oh, the book. He has the book. Is he going to see that he wrote it?
What's that?
Let's get to work.
And there he goes. When and where are we? Oh, same place, Mobius. Okay. Oh boy, jet skis or speedoos. You know, they didn't get the jet ski brand to sponsor apparently. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, of course he could have built it. If it took him decades, he could have built it and then come to this point in time. He didn't build it so fast. It took a long time and he went back in time.
How did you build a temple?
He's got 2 sons too.
Please.
Yeah, what about him?
I can bring you back to any point in time.
This is almost like a Doctor Who episode right now going on.
Like you never left.
Gotta get her B15, right? I don't think we ever knew her first name, did we? Her real name? Okay, this will explain why Casey was one of the ones not found. They never actually... I don't remember now. Don't quote me on this. I don't... Depending upon which escape attempt this was, there was one where I thought 3 of them escaped and they didn't find any of them? In which case, how do they explain the other 2 landing on the beach? I don't know. I was when Obi suggested that he had to get them all together. The first thought that occurred to me is they're all in different times. How is that going to happen? Of course, Obi gets the manual. Obi creates a tempad, and then Loki recruits them all to the same place in time. He's going to steal something.
No.
Oh, Sylvie.
There's one.
He's going to go to Asgard, to her Asgard, and get her? That'd be cool. He doesn't want to get her as a child, though. Oh, no, the McDonald's. that if she's at the McDonald's, that would imply she has memories and she knows what happened, just like he does. Maybe she does because she's him, right? She's going to know who she is. Oh no, her timeline's disappearing.
Of course, I know who you are.
Yeah, he remembered. Of course, she would remember.
In the car.
It's a truck, not a car. But isn't his timeline going away? It looked like her food and drink kind of spaghettified there. Like the timeline's evaporating.
What's wrong with... But your friends are back where they belong.
Not anymore.
Them.
It's gone. Yeah. He's going to put two and two together, or she is going to realize that the timeline's going away. Something's going to disappear here, right? Is this going to be when she figures out that her timeline is evaporating?
Had better.
Oh, Loki. Right? Is that Loki back there? Coming in the door? No. But whoever it is just disappeared. And his mug just disappeared, right? Yep. Come on, Sylvie. The coffee is spaghettifying. Sylvie, come on, put two and two together. You need to help and get the TVA back. Come on. Put it together. But how does she get out of there? Is Loki going to come and try again? Oh, she has a temp pad. How does she know where Loki was if that's where she's going, though?
Sorry.
I didn't think... Oh, of course she would still have the temp pad. Well, I mean, Loki had all of his clothes, right? Had everything he had. He had the book. Well, he got the book later, but... Of course she would still have it. But wasn't that... Oh, no, that's He Who Remains temp pad. I was going to say, wouldn't the temp pad be disabled because Miss Minutes had disabled everything and was offline? But that's He Who Remains temp pad. I'm sure that was completely independent. They have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, they lost Casey. Oh no, they lost OB. Loki and Sylvie have to solve it. Come on. No! What's going on? Is he going to time slip again? He time slipped. It was a fiction problem, like he said. He thought about where he needed to be, and he maybe was able to time slip.
I don't know what's happening, but there must be something we can do.
Come on, Loki, snap out of it. You got to get busy.
It's not about where, when, or why.
It's about who?
It's about who.
Yeah. His friends, like he said. Or, more importantly, Sylvie. Oh, no, that's the end? Wow, that went by so fast. How long was this? It was pretty much a normal length episode. That screamed by. So he figured out in this episode, it took him a long time, but he figured out how to control time slipping, and then he was able to time slip right back to a point before the destruction of the TVA to try to save it. Do they have extra after credit scenes? Come on, they're gonna have to. Come on, yeah. No, that's not after credit. Nope, no after credit scenes. Come on, Marvel. You're killing me. You're killing me. This was a fun, very breakneck sort of episode where it was just like time slipping and finding out, the different timelines where everybody was from, what they did. Mobius definitely was a jet ski salesman or a personal motorcraft salesman, whatever that is, watercraft, motorcraft. I guess he had ATVs as well, so it was motorcraft, I guess. B-15 was a doctor. Her name showed up in this. Her last name showed up in the subtitles. I didn't remember it and commit it to memory, but I don't think we've ever heard her name before. But yeah, we also heard little glimpses at the end there, or little glimpses, little flashbacks to dialogue. You know, like when B-15 was being shown by Sylvie her life, and said, "I looked happy," and all of that. Casey apparently was taken out of time as an escapee from Alcatraz. Okay. OB is OB, of course. And Sylvie, who, of course, since Loki remembered what happened and was put into another point, actually he was put into the same point in time, right? Because when this episode started, it was the end of the Flash, and he was still there at the TVA alone because the temporal blast had taken everybody else away. But he stayed, probably due to his time slipping as well, or it re-triggered his time slipping or something. But he remembered everything. So, of course, Sylvie would too. And she did. She just went back to her old timeline, or the one she wanted to live in. But they all started disintegrating. So it took like the last second. I like how he said who, and he turned to look at Sylvie. I personally am a big shipper between Loki and Sylvie, so I'm hoping that had more significance, but it might just be that he turned to her to tell her that he can fix it. And then he did another time slip right at the end to before the TVA had gone boom. So if that's going to be where the next episode starts, there's going to be a lot of slipping and a lot of time jumping probably to get this thing fixed. And I wonder if this really is this whole Ouroboros thing, this whole snake eating its own tail sort of thing. And in order to save the TVA, he has to basically recreate the TVA. People have talked about that as a possibility. In which case, is Loki going to become He Who Remains? Does it have to be a Kang variant? Or is Loki going to become a Kang? I don't know. Wow. I don't even know where to start thinking about this one. About what can happen in the end. Obviously, the next... Where is the series going to end? Or this season, I should say. Season going to end. Because there may be more. We don't know. And I want you guys to tell me what you think, too. Because is it... Part of me thinks it's supposed to be setting up the next... or the rest of this phase, I guess, that culminates in the Avengers movies, the two Kang Avengers movies, and that he's got to get the universe into a position where that happens, which means the TVA is saved, the loom is expanded or corrected, and multiple timelines exist at the same time. That has to be where they end up, right? Because that sets up what we've heard is going to be in the whole MCU. The whole there's going to be battles between different timelines. That even ties into Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 3, I guess, where there's been rumors that involves multiple timelines as well, multiple Fox timelines, and those coming to an end apparently, which is kind of a cool way, a really meta cool way for the MCU to address that the Fox timelines existed, which they did in Multiverse of Madness, right? With having Professor X there, Patrick Stewart playing him. So the Fox timelines existed, but also to kind of get rid of those or reset those so that they could start over in another timeline with their own MCU versions of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and stuff. So somehow this has to end with the TVA being saved, right? And with the loom being expanded, its capacity so that it can handle all the timelines. But they still have to... I mean, won't that size of the timelines grow infinitely? Don't they have to do some kind of pruning? Or something? Or he's going to come up with some magical way to allow the loom to grow infinitely. I mean, that seems crazy. But, well, maybe they can't. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they stabilize and allow a lot of timelines to exist without destruction. But then there has to be some resolution, which is the whole next phase, the whole phase of the MCU. They have to come up with some resolution to all these timelines, because if they don't, the same thing's going to happen again. The whole, multiverse is going to implode, basically. So I'm predicting that this ends with them stabilizing, at least temporarily, stabilizing the TVA and the loom. Where that leaves Loki, I don't know. I really want to see this Loki, this version of Loki, appearing in some of the Avengers movies or in the future MCU movies, being reunited with his brother. I would just dig that. Different Loki, different Thor, but it's still the same actor and the same character, really at heart. I would love that. I would really dig that. So I don't want him to die. I don't want him to become He Who Remains, who has to get stuck there at the end of time. Maybe Sylvie can do that. Maybe she can run things. But I honestly don't know where it's going to end. This is. But I know it's going to be good based on this last episode being such a shocker. This being so cool and fun and breakneck and fast. Next episode's going to be amazing. So let me know what you thought about it, guys. What you think how you think it's going to end, and how it's going to tie into the rest of the MCU. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.